For the last 242 days, the Earth has been falling, not spinning peacefully in its orbit around the Sun, not drifting endlessly in the quiet of space, but accelerating into the open jaws of a monster. It is not a monster of teeth and claws, but of storms. It is Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, the ancient king of the gas giants, a world big enough to swallow 1,300 Earths and still have room for dessert. And now, we are its next meal. Day 0, the discovery. It started with whispers in the science community, tiny irregularities in satellite data, an unexplained drift in the moon's orbit. Astronomers at observatories in Chile, Hawaii, and the Canary Islands compared notes. They were all seeing the same thing. Earth's path was no longer stable. It wasn't the sun pulling us anymore. Something else had us in its grip. Jupiter. Gravity's long arm. Jupiter's gravity is a beast, 318 times the mass of Earth. It can pull comets from the edge of the solar system and fling them inward at incredible speeds. And now that same gravity had found us. In just a few calculations, scientists knew we were no longer orbiting the sun, we were falling toward Jupiter, and nothing could stop us. A lesson from the dawn of time. To know what's ahead, we have to rewind the clock to the birth of the solar system, 4.5 billion years ago. Back then, everything was chaos. Dozens of infant planets spun wildly, colliding and merging in violent flashes. Jupiter was young, but already massive. In less than 1,000,000 years, its gravity grew 30-fold. Nearby planets couldn't escape its pull. One was colossal, 10 times the mass of Earth, its core made of silicate ice. It struck Jupiter at 46 kilometers per second. The giant didn't shatter. Instead, the impact transformed it from the inside. Its original dense core of heavy metals broke apart, spreading outward into the swirling hydrogen and helium. The other planet, gone. Its atoms scattered through Jupiter's atmosphere, lost forever in the clouds. If something that big didn't survive, we have no chance. Week 1, the first signs. At first, nothing looked wrong. The sun still rose and set. Clouds still drifted across the sky. Life went on. But by day 6, Jupiter appeared in the night like a second moon. It was brighter, steadier, and slightly tinted orange. Social media filled with pictures, people made jokes, memes went viral. But the jokes didn't last. Ocean tides rose higher than ever recorded. The moon's position was off by entire degrees. Ships ran aground in unexpected low tides. Seawalls crumbled, then the earthquakes began. Month 1, the pull strengthens. Jupiter's gravity was now measurable on Earth's surface. We could feel it, not directly, but in the way the Earth's crust shifted. In the strange winds that blew in from the coasts, in the way birds migrated in confusion. International space agencies joined forces: NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, CNSA, JAXA. Every telescope turned toward Jupiter. It wasn't just a planet anymore. It was a destination we couldn't avoid. Life on a moving world Earth still spun, but our orbit around the sun was warping. Our days shortened by milliseconds, not enough for most people to notice, but enough to throw off satellite timings, GPS systems, and power grids. Insects became disoriented. Animals migrated in erratic patterns. Some regions had weeks of overcast skies as the atmosphere thickened with strange weather fronts. Month 2, the sun grows faint. As we move farther from the sun, its warmth weakened. The sunlight that once bathed the planet now felt pale and cold. Crops withered in the fields. Farmers set up emergency greenhouses. Governments rationed food. The global average temperature dropped steadily. The ice caps began to grow. In cities, people wore winter coats in early summer. Breath misted in the air. The heating bills skyrocketed. Crossing Mars' orbit, the halfway point. By the time we passed Mars, we'd lost half of our sunlight. The red planet was visible for weeks, a rust-colored jewel against the black. Space agencies sent out desperate missions. Some tried to put people on Mars as a refuge. Most failed before leaving Earth's atmosphere. Fuel shortages, political chaos, and collapsing economies made the launches nearly impossible. The few who reached Mars were on their own. They would never see Earth again. The asteroid belt, Month 6. The belt was breathtaking from Earth's surface. Meteor showers streaked the skies nightly, glowing in colors no human had ever seen: pinks, greens, deep blues. But beauty came with danger. Some asteroids were the size of skyscrapers. When they hit, they obliterated entire regions. Millions died. Coastal cities were already flooded. Now inland cities burned. Jupiter becomes the sky by month 8. Jupiter filled half the horizon. Its cloud bands were sharp and vivid. The Great Red Spot, a hurricane big enough to swallow Earth 3 times, rotated slowly, hypnotically. Night and day blurred. The sun was now a dim star behind us. The air pressure changed. Storm systems on Earth became violent and unpredictable, driven by forces we couldn't model anymore. Final week. Chaos on the ground. Governments dissolved. Communication between continents was patchy at best. Only a few scientific teams still transmitted data, desperate to record every detail for history, if there was any history left to keep. The moon's orbit became unstable, swinging wildly. Sometimes it rose huge and distorted in the sky, other times not at all. Tidal waves hit coastlines without warning. Earthquakes toppled what little remained standing. Final days. The moons of Jupiter. Jupiter has 79 known moons and dozens more suspected. Some are tiny, no bigger than a city. Others, like Ganymede and Callisto, are larger than Mercury. As we approached, their gravity tugged at us, threatening to smash Earth apart before we even touched Jupiter. One close pass by Europa triggered massive volcanic activity. Ash blotted out the sky. Oceans boiled under clouds of acid rain. Impact, atmosphere, meets atmosphere. When Earth finally touched Jupiter, it wasn't rock meeting rock. It was air meeting air. But at speeds so high, the result was catastrophic. Our atmosphere slammed into Jupiter's at over 60 kilometers per second. The compression heated the gases to thousands of degrees instantly. Everything combustible, forests, cities, oceans, ignited. The fire didn't spread. It didn't need to. It happened everywhere at once. Descent into the giant. If by some miracle you were alive, your last sight would be towers of cloud larger than continents, flashing with lightning bolts 1,000 times more powerful than Earth's. The pressure would crush you before you could take another breath. Metals would warp like wax. The oceans, the crust, the mantle, all stripped away and pulled into the roiling soup of Jupiter's upper layers. We would never touch its core. The heat and pressure are too intense. Instead, Earth would dissolve, like sugar into tea. Aftermath, Jupiter changes. From afar, Jupiter would barely notice. Its storms might shift slightly. The composition of its clouds would gain traces of iron, silicon, and oxygen, the scattered remains of our world. In 1 billion years, an alien probe might detect something unusual in Jupiter's atmosphere, a faint chemical fingerprint, the last whisper of Earth. The survivors. If anyone escaped to Mars or a distant moon before the final month, they'd live under alien skies, watching the dot that was once Earth vanish into Jupiter. They'd tell stories to their children about blue oceans and green forests. They'd wonder if it was all just a dream. They'd know that planets are fragile things, and the universe doesn't play favorites. Why this matters? This won't happen in our lifetime, or likely ever. Jupiter's stable orbit keeps it far from us. In fact, it protects us, catching comets and asteroids that could end life here. But the early solar system was brutal. Worlds collided all the time, and somewhere in Jupiter's clouds right now are the atoms of a planet that once was. Jupiter has eaten before. It could again. Look at Jupiter tonight. It's beautiful, it's steady, it's ancient, but never forget. To it, we are nothing more than another passing meal, and if the day ever comes, we won't even have time to scream.